a second.
Alright, I'm gonna go talk to peeps.
Nook.
But quick question, who do you want out?
Okay, I know it sounds like stupid, but I kind of just want Mark gone.
Same. I want Mark or Mal's gone.
It's like, I don't want to deal with their shit anymore.
They're so fucking...
A surprise last night, we ended up accomplishing our goal of getting rid of Kid, which was really good. But, unfortunately, there was a second vote, and, Tux got voted out, who helped us get rid of Kid. I ended up voting Mark, because I really want him gone. He's a nuisance around camp.
Did you flip on Kid?
No. I
No?
would say I did vote for Sugar to attempt to type the votes because I didn't know people were voting for Tux. I would have voted for Tux, but
Did they not fill you in on that at all?
no. I
Okay,
just
fuck. Wow.
I did kind of want to keep Kid around just because he's like my good friend, but I
Yeah,
wanted
fair
to
enough.
dull him out a bit by getting rid of Sugar and making him seem like much less of a
Okay.
threat because obviously that was like a benefit for him. I voted for BJ just because I really didn't have too much of a preference who to vote for. I would have voted for Sugar, but since Kid was gone, Sugar was put at a really bad spot for himself, I guess, just because that was his main partner in crime, and taking that out definitely pulled him down a bit as a threat. And I voted for BJ just because he did kind of take away my win, in a sense, from the anonymous challenge. Even though he didn't know it was me, he still, in a way, decided to take a 50-50 and he dropped me instead. It's not a huge deal just because that didn't really affect how my game went, since I didn't receive any votes, but it would have been nice to win a challenge just because I haven't won anything in a long time since the first or second challenge. Yeah.
Alright. For the record, by the way, I trust you.
I think I'm in a okay spot. I'm not really with any major groups, but I don't see myself as a humongous threat. I can't see people voting for me as of right now just because there's bigger threats such as Mischievous and Sugar and BJ and Sam, but as of right now I think I'm doing alright with my goal of just drifting along and staying quiet a bit. Thank you.
You're one of the few I actually trust in here. So I will keep you apprised of what's happening next, okay?
Alright.
I've not been at a point in this game where I've been that terrified and that confused and that scared of going home. The very first vote that came out at the second tribal was for me, and that scared me to death because I really thought I was going home. Probably the craziest tribal we went to. This completely threw me out, completely scared the crap out of me, and I still don't know where I stand now. I know Sugar and I are still hopefully going to be on the same team. We're going to need to discuss how we're both going to react to the fact that Kid's gone, but wow. Have two people go home in such quick succession, that was just mind-blowing.
We're getting a bit close to the end, and in my opinion, obviously you guys can entirely disagree and I understand, we're starting to get to the point where it's like, there's a few people in this game that, if they get to the end, they have a hell of a jury case. We're on the same page of who I'm talking about here?
Kid, don't get me wrong. I've told multiple people I was never going to take him to the end, but I can't believe that Kid went. Kid, that shocked me. I mean, it sounded like we had this solid plan and everything was going to work, and then he was even messaging me like, listen, I think I'm done. And I'm like, there's no way. I genuinely think we're all with us, but someone obviously ate the apple. Someone took a juicy little bite of that, didn't they?
Who are you thinking?
I'm thinking that underdog Scott and Miles, but
Yeah.
I feel like a sly comment there just seemed a bit obvious to me when he was talking about what's it called? Oh, I definitely want.
Said that he wanted me out.
I
of
think
the
I
game
know what you're
since
talking
the
about, but I
day
forgot
one.
what it was too.
Right.
Yeah, that made me feel very unsafe. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, I expect the four of them to target me. That doesn't surprise me if they do. But in my opinion, those two are the most dangerous players left in this game.
Yeah.
And a big part of me thinks I could probably bring BJ and Sir in, and we could maybe even get A-Rod and DYM. and we can get rid of one of them. Preferably for me, I would want Scott, but if you guys want Miles, I'm okay to do that.
I'd rather Miles after today.
Let's say that immunity challenge. That was not my forte. Memory is not my forte. I will actually say as a little side note here, during that, Scott really did actually piss me off. I mean, Kid goes, and then suddenly Scott's gone from this, you know, I'm on the bottom, I have to defend myself, which, you know, I can respect that. If I was on the bottom, I'd be doing the same thing, but he suddenly's on the top, and he had the majority of the vote, and he's whistling and singing, which was a bit like, you know, okay, just rub it in our faces, that's cool and everything. And then when we was in the challenge, it's sort of like I lost the challenge, and I was like, well, I'm done, I'm assuming, so I sort of leant back in my chair, like, well, I'm screwed, and I was leaning forward to go flick my switch. Scott runs across half the tribal to flick my switch, and I'm like, it's a little bit insulting. I mean, I maybe didn't mean anything by it, but it just rubbed me the wrong way that he's gone from the bottom underdog to the slightly smug, oh, you know, I'm now in charge and I can do this, and it just caught me the wrong way.
If you guys want to do Miles, I'm okay with doing Miles, but I feel like they're either going to go for me or Sam at this point. And I would rather do Mischievous now, because when they're on the bottom, Mischievous is a bigger pain in the ass than Miles. That's just my opinion.
I see where you're coming from, but
Yeah.
like, also, though, Miles has been surprisingly, I must admit, doing better in the challenges than Scott, though, is another
you
thing.
Guys, yeah. If you guys want to do Miles... I mean, I could bring BJ in here and see if we can get a fourth opinion on here.
Yeah,
Cool with that?
yeah. I mean, I'm fine with either of them, but I just, obviously, I would prefer Miles. Miles made a big deal of my name at the end of the challenge today. He claimed that he wanted me out since day one, which I kind of figured after I kind of ruined his whole game with voting Kirky out. The rest of the group were wanting Scott to go first. And that worries me a little bit, because obviously Miles is straight targeting me, and if he's going to do it, then Scott's going to do the same. So they're going to go after me, and I think Miles is the one that's obviously making a bigger deal out of it. So if they're going to go after anyone, it's more likely going to be me, and that worries me a little bit.
Everyone wants to work with DYM because he has immunity right now, I think.
Yeah. But he's on our side, isn't he?
Well, he was, but he has immunity now. He's got to realize, though, if he doesn't work with us, he's just going to get us strung along for the single vote. I'm going to message him saying...
Yeah, message him. We can talk. There's definitely still that type for some of BJ, Sugar, Sam, and Mark. So I know that it's like Scott, DYM, and I against those four, with Sir and A-Rod in the middle. So I think my next course of action is to try and swing over Sir and A-Rod, pointing out like those four are a tight foursome. And if you go with us, not only are you guaranteed final 5, but we're not as tight as those 4. So it'd be easier when we get to the final 5, because it becomes an every man's game. We need to figure out what's the best course of action for us, because we're on the bottom right now. Sugar, Mark, and Sam are talking in a channel together right now.
The foursome? Who would you say? BJ, Mark?
Sugar, Sam.
BJ, Mark, Sugar, Sam. Probably Mark, but everyone wouldn't vote him off. So last night, Tribal was crazy. We actually had 2 vote-offs. The first one was absolutely insane. I did what I planned to do, which caused a bit of chaos at Tribal, and ended up working out getting Kid Fierce voted off. Unfortunately, after that, without any ability to strategize and plan, and also likely without having the numbers still, we lost Tux, who was one of the only 3 people I really trust, the other 2 being IM and Miles. And that's really rough, because I'm once again back in the same position before Kid got voted off, in the minority. Except in this position, I really don't have someone to paint a target on.
No, I'm just trying to figure out who voted.
The reason
Did
why
you
I
vote
voted for
Kid?
Kid, yeah.
Okay.
The
Alright,
thing-
that adds up then.
The thing that pushed me to vote Kid was him stealing Aaron's idol. Honestly, I really didn't want to vote Tux out. Tux was the only other name talked about beforehand. I kind of wish I could have kept him around longer. I feel like he deserved to go home right there. But I just had to do it to save what was left of what was left of the alliance that kind of got shattered when Kid got voted out.
Up that second vote during the night, I ended up voting Mark because I just want him gone. It sounds mean, but I'm tired
User
of
joined your
his
channel. User joined your
Hello.
channel.
Hey,
Hey, Miss
You
Judith.
could do that tonight.
Yeah, I don't know. It's something to consider, I guess.
I feel bad for Mark, but I feel like he's also been here way longer than he should have.
Yeah.
This is also true.
I don't know. I feel like people don't give him the credit that he
Well, I think
deserves.
he's just Marcus perceived as weak.
he's
He's-
just
yeah,
With
exactly.
that perception, no one wants to vote him
Vote
out
him
because
out,
everyone
yeah.
think
Yeah,
they
but-
can take him to the end.
But at
And
the
by
same
being
time,
perceived the weakest, you could also be the strongest because you almost have a free ride with everyone to go to the end.
yeah, but at the same time, I don't see many people voting for him at the final tribal.
I'm getting fed up with Mark. He's been a complete annoyance all game. Anytime that Jeff tries to explain anything, he has to go and fucking fuck around, mess with anything. He complains about every challenge, how he doesn't win, or how we think he's bad. God, he's just fuck, dude. I can't take it for much longer. The worst part is I need him on my side at this next vote.
Okay, let me be honest. If it's a final two, I would vote for Mark if Sam was the other person. We need to get Sam or Sugar out right now because if one of them makes it to the final tribal council, they're gonna win the game. And I'm not sure why these people are unable to see it. They're so stupid and thick-skulled that they're not gonna do that because Sam is just leading them like sheep to the slaughter. And I think Sugar is like his right-hand man because they can kind of bridge the gap between the two tribes and just lead everybody into the slaughterhouse. So my goal right now is to try and get enough numbers to get Sam or Sugar out. And I really hope this works because that means this game will completely shift on its head. I'm gonna
You
take it straight
really
up.
don't like Sam right now.
Sam is a slimy snake in this game. If he makes it to the final, like
Hey, real
jury,
quick,
and
what are
I'm
the chords
the
of
jury
bass?
member,
I'm lost and I have no number.
Negative
Like-
900, negative 900. Like, on
What
the-
did Sam do to piss you off?
he's gone behind my back 3 times in this game already.
Jesus. Okay.
He also he seems like he's snaking a lot of people. Like he's been playing both sides. Like every single vote, keeping his options open. Every single vote,
Yeah.
I think, except for like the impromptu one, he's come to us, message us saying we need to get rid of someone that was on like the main alliance.
I hope that everyone feels the same as I do. That Mish is a dangerous player right now. If he could convince people like he did in the Kid vote, I feel like he could take majority just by how strong of a player he is.
User left your channel. User left your channel.
Like,
So I think us are on the bottom.
yeah, we are.
Do you see how quickly A-Rod followed BJ? I think those 5 are pretty tight.
I
He
think
like
I think
comes
they
in
know
here,
that
he
the
gathers
fire.
information, he spills it to them.
Sir, what do you actually think? Because I know you've kind of not been too set on anything, or it seems like.
I used to be, like, in a sort of group with League, Sam, and A-Rod, but when League left, they sort of stopped talking to me, so I've been on my own pretty much since then.
Well,
So if you think you could work with us, which I think is worth it, because they're really tight, so they're not going to take you far anywhere. We don't really have any alliances. And I think all we need to do is if the 4 of us actually stick together, which I think is mutually beneficial, we need to swing one of them. And I think there's definitely a possibility there. We could talk to Mark. So today, basically what my goals are is to try and get someone from the majority alliance to flip over to our side, because that's the only way we're going to be able to work moving forward. Kid did go home, but with Tux following him thereafter, we still haven't established any form of majority. So my plan is really to try and sway Mark, because I have old relations with him from the original layoff he tried. I don't know. All we need to tell him is that he is on the bottom of that alliance, and if he doesn't switch, he's gonna be voted out once we're gone. I can use that to my advantage and convince him with whatever means necessary to vote with us, and also see if we could get Sir, because he doesn't seem to be too tight with any alliance. So if I can secure both their votes, then we could establish a majority and have a nice ride to the final like 5 or final 6.
Scott wants to talk to me. Oh boy. Oh my god, I was not expecting that to go on with Miles and Mischievous with Scott. I could understand though, because they were at the bottom and they had nothing to lose, but Jesus Christ, that pretty much shook up the entire tribe, because the votes ended up being so scattered, it was not very clear who was going to go out, and seeing Kid go out, it was a shocker to me, but it was also a sigh of relief, because he was a power player, and Sugar explained it perfectly to me.
And I think to make it to the end, you can't just sit back and ally with them. You can make it to 5 or maybe 6 before you get voted out, and I don't think they'll keep you that long.
I honestly don't care what kind of stuff he says, mainly because I've been playing quiet up until this point, and the other players, they're not going to expect anything out of me. So when I do make my move, and yes, I will make a big move, I already could feel it happening. I just don't know what it'll be. I know I will make a big move.
So what do you think? If you would vote for us, who would you want to vote for out of those 4? So if you
That
want,
you
we
guys
could vote.
might be hiding
We
on.
could just stick with Sugar, or we could vote for like BJ or something.
The thing is, BJ
Or
isn't a
A-Rod.
good player.
We could vote
he's
for A-Rod.
Yeah, I
Or
was thinking
Sam.
probably A-Rod too. When it comes to A-Rod, he's kind of like just there. Like, I tend to forget that he's even there. It's like he's not even doing anything, and he's just sticking with Sam all the time. That kind of worries me too, because it's hard to choose a side when those two are getting much stronger now, while at the same time, I'm too afraid of getting betrayed by ambition again.
If you'd be down to vote for A-Rod, that'd be fine with me. You just go back to their channel, you lie, you say you're with them, and then it's up to you, I guess.
Alright, all I have to say is that the Ambition Alliance done goofed, because if it weren't for Sam, they probably would still all be together, because I basically tore them all apart. That's what you get for betraying me. You think that it would go all according to plan, huh? But nope. Instead, your little alliance got broken up into several little pieces and thrown away in the trash.
Right.
The thing that I was wanting to do was to even out both sides, because right now, Sugar's side is a lot bigger than the Ambition side, and that scares me because I don't want them turning on me or anything, because if I like switch off between the two and voted against both sides, then it would even everything out.
So Mark comes out, straight up says that he wants to play both sides, because obviously they have less numbers, we have more numbers, so he wants to even the playing field, he wants to even things out. Like, how stupid can you be, you know? If he's on the winning side right now, there's no point at all for him to flip, but he's considering it, and obviously that makes him a liability. I don't know how long I can keep hold of him, how long I'm gonna have to drag him along, because he's completely untrustworthy at that point, you know? He's literally admitting to me that he doesn't want to align with me anymore. Okay, Mike, let me just say this, right? If you flip on us right now, that means that I probably go home. I saved your life like day 1 of the, or day 2, whatever it was, of this game. I need you to return the favor now.
I'm just saying that it's gonna be very dangerous having such a big group working together.
Oh yeah, for
You see
sure,
what I mean?
but for now I think we need to focus on the bigger threat. I might want to get into playing my idol, I don't know, I might have to, but hopefully not.
Are we
Yeah.
all ready for tribal and
yeah.
right?
Sure.
In the worst case
Basically,
scenario,
I just,
BJ,
yeah.
my king's crown is the hat I'm currently wearing. I hope you take a item frame and make it. You understand what I'm saying?
Dude,
That
I will
isn't-
put it on my head
That isn't well.
and
as long as
carry
you
on.
care of it.
I have to play this smart now. I have to bring in this 4, make a 5, be careful that one of them has an idol, my suspicion is Sir, and just try and maneuver my way to the end. Because I feel like at this point, if I can get to the end, I think I can pull it off. I just hope that I can bring in Sam and Mark, that I can get their words, and hope their words are genuine. That's the way I want to play this game, and hopefully, I can just squeeze through, because if I don't go in this next tribal, and we have the majority of 5 at this next tribal, I genuinely think I could go all the way. It really depends, probably, on if Sam and Mark will give me their word.